Hey guys, it's Tarkon here, back with another video. Woohoo! How's everyone doing out there? I'm doing great. It's allergy season. It seems to always be allergy season, so I feel like I'm getting the sniffles or it's allergies. It's probably just allergies, but if you hear me sniffling or if I sneeze during the video, I'll try to edit it out. But I apologize in advance. I've been doing that a lot lately. It started to rain again. We're getting back into the rainy time, which is nice. So it's actually cleaning the air a little bit, and I've been wanting this. So here it is. It's one of those things where, you want it, it's going to come because it's just kind of the way it is, right? Like, I know it's going to start raining again. We're having like a hot summer, or it's those dog days of summer towards the end, August, September, and it's still hot, and you're like, I'm over it. When's it going to rain again? But it's going to come, right? So it's not like there's not much more to do at that point, but then just sort of make the best of how it is now, and then just look forward to what the time comes when it's going to start raining again, or when things are going to be different again, because you know the weather patterns, the cycle of things, that if it's like this, it's not always going to be like this, it's going to be this way too at some point. The pendulum will swing back, right? The cycle will come around again, the circle will go around again. So you don't really have to do much. The only thing to do is not to sit around and complain about the hot weather if you're over it. So I would go out, I went out hiking to the coast, right? Had a great time, went there with a friend. We had a dog with us. It was wonderful. Just found a dog and took him. No, we didn't. It was her dog. But it was still kind of hot, right? But I'm not going to sit around and complain about the heat. I'm going to go out and enjoy it as much as I can, right? And try not to think about it, or do something that's going to I'm going to lean into it rather than resist it, and rather than push against it, okay? Because I know that the rainy season is coming. I know it's not far around the corner, and it's something that I can be sure about, so I don't sit around and worry about it. And then boom, there it comes, right? And now I feel better. There's relief, right? I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for this. Thank you. My car needs to be washed, so the rain is great. That's what we do around here. We don't wash our cars. We just wait for it to start raining again. Saves money. But the point of me telling you all that, of course, right, it kind of ties into what I'm talking about here today, which is and I've just touched on this before. We've talked about taking action before, when to take action, what does it really mean to take action, and why do people take action? Why do things tend to backfire or seem to backfire when you take action? Oftentimes that's what happens, because people, most of the time, take action from a place of being really frustrated, impatient, right? Feeling desperate, feeling a need for their desire, for their thing to manifest. And also with that in mind, also, coupled with how we've been conditioned our whole lives, that action is, we live in an action-oriented world. Everything is going to require action and pushing and doing and working hard and, getting on top of the problem and twisting it and wrestling it to the ground and manipulating and pushing and convincing others of your position. I need them to change so I can feel good about myself, so I can, be okay with my choices and my decisions and yada, 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 right? And what happens when you take action from that point, right, from that kind of position, is that things tend to backfire because you're putting the cart before the horse, right? So what's happening from that standpoint is you're not aligned first. You didn't do the alignment first. You didn't become okay inside yourself first. You didn't do the work in here first. You decided that the first step to take was to do the work out there because you don't really trust this process. Now, we've talked about trust before, we've talked about faith before, and I have told you, and this is still true, you don't need to have 100% faith. You don't need to have that, or what does that even mean, right? This idea, and you probably hear a lot of other people mention this, you can't have what you want, you can't manifest what you want if you don't have 100% belief and faith that it's going to happen, or yada yada, or in the universe. There's an element of truth to that, but it's not quite as apocalyptic as a lot of people make it sound. Okay, you don't need to have 100% faith. It's enough to have 51% faith, all right, we're going to talk numbers. But really what it comes down to is that you need to have enough faith to be able to let go of those reins, let go of needing to micromanage and control the situation before it's ready, okay? The faith part comes in having the faith and the trust in the process that it will take care of all those little details that your monkey mind now feels so pressured to take care of, okay? If it's a specific person, I haven't heard from them in a month. I haven't heard from them in a year. I haven't heard from them in 4 years. And why? Why do weeks and months and years turn into years, right? Because guess what? You're sitting around counting the time, right? Feeling desperate, feeling you need to do things. And then from that position of desperation and impatience, you're probably taking very uninspired actions, blowing up their phone, begging, showering them with gifts, or whatever it is that you think you need to do, that your ego mind feels it needs to do because it's been conditioned to do things. It's been conditioned to believe that, if you don't take any kind of action, nothing will happen. But guess what? All the actions you've been taking from that desperate place, from that impatient place, have brought you nothing either. And in the worst case scenario, they've really prolonged and slowed down your manifestation. So there right there is your evidence, if you need evidence, that uninspired action doesn't do you any good. In fact, most of the time it'll slow things down, right? Dramatically. So this is why I always stress becoming aligned first. You need to do the work inside first to get yourself to a place of getting to that easy place. Getting to the place where yes, I want this thing, but I don't want it. I don't need it, okay? And that's why it's important to practice self-love and self-acceptance, because you cannot get there from here. You cannot get to a better place from a place of feeling desperate and needy, from a place of needing your current situation to change, right? I can't be happy in my current situation, so I need this condition to change so I can feel happy. But guess what? Even if that condition then changes and you're still not happy with yourself, you still don't really love yourself and accept yourself, you still look at outside circumstances as being, the catalyst towards your happiness, rather than doing the work and the alignment on the inside, calming yourself down the inside, appreciating yourself on the inside. Even if that were to happen, even if under those circumstances you were to get what you want, you wouldn't be happy still. And then you'd be like, well, I have what I wanted now, but I'm still unhappy, right? I still feel unfulfilled. You get this all the time. You get people that they make a lot of money, or they won the lottery, or they come in something, but it still doesn't make them happy. But the whole time they thought the money was what was going to bring them happiness. But the people who do enjoy their money, for instance, for an example, right? And the people who do enjoy their relationships the most and have the most successful and long-lasting and loving and respectful, mutually respectful and loving relationships and healthy relationships, usually they were happy first. They were already happy in themselves. They were already balanced in themselves. And then they brought that balance and that happiness to the situation of having money, to the relationship. You see what I'm saying? They didn't expect that circumstance to fulfill them. They became fulfilled first by pouring love into themselves, and then they manifested things that match that, and then those things last. Those things are enjoyable, right? So that's what you want to do. So even if you get their attention by blowing up their phone, is that really what you want? Did you really want their attention on those terms, for instance, right? So the thing always to remember with action is, if you're going to take action, it is imperative to take action in the manifesting process. Yes, of course, some kind of action is always going to be required on your part. Okay, if you want to win the lottery, you need to take the action of buying a lottery ticket, and then take the action of checking the numbers to see if you won. And then when you won, you need to take the action of, going down there or sending it in and collecting your winnings, or if it's your specific person, right, you're going to manifest them. They're going to text you, or you're going to run into them, or somehow you're going to reconnect. And then you're going to have to, ask them out on a date, set dates, go out and meet them on the date, have a good time, right? Those are action steps, okay? But you see that you take those action steps from the place of already being okay with everything, being aligned, taking a light touch approach. I've talked about that a lot. I think it's great. It's from Richard Dott's book, and I've spoken about Richard Dott's before. And that's light touch manifestations, I think. And I'm going to put that, and I'll talk about that more specifically in another video too. But I'm going to put a link to that book down below if you want to check it out. I think it's fantastic. But the idea of that's really the idea of it, being easy about things, right? And when you approach it from that place of being easy, when you take a light touch to your manifestations, to your desires, then when action occurs to you, it occurs to you from a calm place, right? It's going to feel calm, right? And then those actions will facilitate your manifestation even more. And sometimes the best action to take, and the only action to take in the manifestation process, very often, is nothing but taking the action of enjoying your manifestation. There it is. I've manifested it. Now all I have to do is take the action of living it and enjoying it. You know, if it's your specific person and you go out on that date with them, enjoy yourself. Have fun, right? That's taking action too. But you see the difference a little bit? Okay. You don't ever begin with action. See, that's what happens because the monkey mind wants to begin with action. Okay, I'm going to manifest this person back in my life. Now, what do I need to do? All right, and so immediately the ego goes to work on this. Well, what are the tasks? What are the steps? What do I have to do? Tell me the action to take. All right, and your inner being is going, no. See, we heard you. We know what you want. Just relax now. Just relax. Go do something fun. Go work on yourself. Go work on a project you really love. Go to the gym. Go engage in your hobbies. Go play with your dog. Okay? Go to work and have a good time. We got this. You're fine. All right? So you don't begin with action. All right? You begin with alignment. Okay? Alignment is the initial step. And then once you've aligned, which happens on the inside, okay? Once you've aligned, then you end with action. Action in the manifestation process is usually the last thing you do. That's the last step, or towards the end of the process is action. You align first. You get easy about it first. You relax about it first. It's enough to just set your intention and then just forget about it and go about your business until it manifests. And just knowing, the universe has this. It's done. It's coming. That's the faith process, right? But if you then, you approach and go, well, I want this. Now I know that I have to do this to make it happen. I have to do that to make it happen. You have to align yourself, all right? You got to become easy about it now. If you aren't already, okay? Saying that from that perspective. So then usually once you've done that, then actions will occur to you. And then the actions will be easy, right? They'll feel like the next natural thing to do. It won't be coming from the place of such desperation. So I know I have spoken about this in another video, but I wanted to speak about this again, and this is probably going to be the title of this video. You are a creator, not a doer, okay? You need to get over this idea that you need to do things all the time. And that, of course, comes down to also doing, I must do my affirmations, I must do my visualizing, I must do these things or nothing will happen. You see what I'm saying? You do those things to get aligned. That's why you do those things. So again, the first step is alignment. The first step is becoming all right with it, becoming patient about it, understanding it's fine, it's happening, I can just be easy, it's becoming easy about it, it's relaxing, it's floating downstream, it's going with the flow, all right? That's what you use the affirmations and the process and the techniques for. That's what you use the visualizing for. That's what you use the scripting for. And that's what that's for. It's not to make the thing happen. The thing is already done. You have to move yourself into alignment with it, okay? That's why you do those things. But most people, of course, they approach I got to do my affirmations or they won't come back. I won't get what I want. No, because that's approaching it from the perspective of, I don't have it yet, so I must do something, I must do something, okay? You need to start divorcing yourself from the idea of you needing to do all these things. You needing to do anything really for that matter, all right? Other than becoming okay with yourself first, okay? Aligning first. Then take the actions necessary to facilitate the manifestation, okay? Yes, I should maybe send them a text. See how they're doing. Maybe ask them out. But you do it when you're just feeling cool about it already. You do it when it just occurs to you. You do it because when you've been having so much fun in your life anyway, that you kind of forgot about them almost, and then it occurs to you one day, oh yeah, I wanted that person back. Wonder how they're doing. Well, I'll shoot them a text, see what happens. And then you shoot them a text and you put the phone down and you go back about your business. You don't think about it again. You go next time you see your phone, you see there's a reply. And you go, oh look, the reply is positive, and you reply back, and then you go, well, I'm going to ask them out, see what they're doing. Hey, let's grab a beer sometime. Whatever. Okay, great. So you set the date. So then you go back about your business. You see, that's how you do it. You kind of do it like, okay, well, I'm working a little bit. I'm going to make a cup of coffee. Then you put the pot on or whatever. I'm going to make some tea. You put the pot on, then you go do something else for a few minutes while that cooks, while that boils, that water or whatever, right? You don't think about it. You sit there and go, oh, when's it going to boil? I need my tea right now. Okay? What is it? A watched pot never cooks, never boils, right? It's really true. You sit there, it seems to take longer. Why? Because you're just focused on that thing. When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? That's all you're going to think about. And everything all that's going to come reflected back to you is, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? More waiting, more waiting, more waiting, more impatience. So you got to become okay with it first, okay? All right, that's my little rant. So anyway, so that's the idea. You are a creator, not a doer, okay? Now, alignment comes first, action comes last. All right, so I have 3 comments here I'm going to go through. They're not all necessarily questions or anything like that, or really that involved, but they kind of run the theme of this a little bit. They demonstrate this a little bit pretty well. There's a couple of questions in there, but I'm going to go through them, and you'll see how it kind of ties into what I was rambling about just now, what I was babbling about just now. This first one is from Baby Girl 242223. List those numbers. What is that, a zip code? Or I don't know. Hi, baby girl. That's really that's the only reason I'm reading your comment, is just because I wanted to say hi, baby girl. That's not the only reason, but I do like saying hi, baby girl. I recently blocked my specific person. I felt like I was putting way too much focus on them. So you see, that's kind of what we were talking about here, right? Way too much focus. Well, you weren't putting way too much focus on them. You were putting way too much focus on the fact that they weren't here. Where are they? They're not here. Why can't I be happy yet with them here? I'm not happy, I'm not happy, I'm not happy. They're not here, they're not here, they're not here, they're not here, they're not here. That's what you were putting focus on. You weren't putting focus on them in terms of, I love their smile. Won't it be great when they come back and I'll get to see their smile again? That's awesome. All right, I'm going to go walk the dog. All right, I'm going to go to work. All right, you put focus on, you weren't putting easy focus on them. You weren't putting the kind of focus, you weren't putting pure focus on them, right? Without any conditions needing to be met, okay? You want to focus on them when you are in that place of alignment. You focus on them. You want to make sure you focus on them from an unconditional place. That means, again, you don't need anything to be different. You don't need the condition, the current circumstance to be different. You would like it to be different. That's fine. But when you think about them, you need to do it from a pure, unconditional place. All right? And only then do you put your focus on them. Only then do you think lovingly about them. Can you do so easily without laying blame, without being angry about what happened in the past, without being impatient and butthurt that they're not here right now and they're not texting you all the time and they don't seem to be showing you any love? Can you give them love without them needing to give you love back? That's unconditional. Okay, that's where you need to be. So I know that when you're saying I was putting way too much focus on them, you were putting focus on them not behaving in the way you preferred. All right? You were putting focus on them not being present in your life. You were putting focus on how you've been waiting, how they're pissing you off because they're not texting you, how they, whatever they did to piss you off in the past, whatever it is. That's what you were putting focus on, and that's why it felt awful. That's how you know you're putting your focus in the wrong area. When it feels awful, you feel awful when you think about them. That's how you know you're thinking about them from a conditional place and not from an unconditional place. You see? That's your inner being communicating with you directly through your emotional reaction to whatever thought you're having in that moment, whether that thought is in alignment with what you want or not, whether that's getting you closer to your desire or moving you further away from it. Listen to it. Listen to that guidance. Train yourself into listening to it, focusing on that. Understand that. Start paying attention to the feelings and emotional responses you have towards thoughts you're having, towards events in your life. Okay? And then look at them and go, I see. Okay, well, I just had a thought that I'm not worthy and they don't love me. That's why I haven't heard from them in a month. And you feel awful in response to that thought. And that's your inner being going, no, that's not it at all. That's moving you further away from what you want. All right? And then maybe you switch it to, you know what? They loved me before. They'll love me again. And who cares what's happening right now? Right now, I can make the decision to enjoy my day or whatever this moment is and whatever I'm doing in this moment, and it'll be fine. They've come before, they'll come again. I'm good at this. Things work out for me. It's fine. I don't need anything to happen right now. I don't need anything to change in this moment. I'm fine in this moment. And I know what I want is coming. And I know the more fine I am in every given moment, the more relaxed I am in every given moment, the easier they will come. The quicker they will come. And then you feel relief suddenly thinking that way. Ah, that feels so calm. I feel such relief now. See, now that feeling of relief, that's your indication from your inner being that yes, that's more like it. That's how we want you to think, okay? It's always shining a beacon out for you. So I know when you said I was putting way too much focus on them, it wasn't that you were putting way too much focus on them, you were putting way too much focus on the wrong aspect of them, all right? On them not being there, not being present, frustrating you. So then you blocked them. Now here's I would not normally recommend that you do that, right? I would normally say that is a drastic action in response to a drastic emotional state, to a desperate emotional state. That's a desperate action to take. Okay, you don't necessarily need to do that. Now, we've all done this. I've done this in the past. Okay, I get it. I'm not judging you. But what I want you to be aware of is that sometimes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. All right, when you're feeling exasperated and frustrated and impatient, you're putting way too much focus on the condition that you don't prefer, then you take a drastic action in response to that. Okay, that's normally what I would do. And now probably what happens, because I'm going to keep reading the rest of your comment, and actually this gave you a feeling of relief, right? So in this scenario, probably what was happening is you were stalking them on social media way too much. I don't know where you blocked them on Facebook or whatever it was, but that's probably what it was, right? So maybe you were seeing them having fun without you or with somebody else, or you were just constantly reading their updates and constantly obsessing about what they're doing rather than paying attention to yourself and focusing on making yourself happy in the moment and making yourself the project. You were still putting them on that pedestal and making them the object of your happiness, making them responsible for you feeling okay about yourself, you feeling relief about the situation. So every day you were checking in like a junkie going, when can I feel good? When can I feel good? Please do something that's going to make me happy and feel good. You need them to do something. You need them to say something. You need them to change in some way. You need to change first. So yeah, you were stalking them on social media, and that was making you feel awful, okay? And then in this case, actually it had an interesting effect. What happened was you moved away from doing that by blocking them. That actually put a little barrier between you and being able to check on them every day. I felt oddly relieved and free, and still do. See what I mean? So I would say in this case, like maybe it wasn't necessary in that moment to block them. All right, I wouldn't say that you should block them necessarily. It's not something I would recommend, but it is an indication that you taking that action and then feeling better immediately is an indication that you were probably stalking their social media and looking at their updates way too much. So, you don't need to block them necessarily, but you do need to just stop doing that, cut it out. And the best way to do that is not necessarily to take a drastic action like block them. And now it's okay that you did it. It's fine. You don't need to worry that this is like a bad thing now and everything is apocalypse and Armageddon and it's all over. No, it's fine. But in future, this is something to think about and something to really pay attention to. Why am I doing that, right? Or is this action really drastic? Is this really necessary at this moment? All that was really necessary was for you to just focus on yourself, and this is why you focus on yourself and not them. This is why you do things that you love and hang out with people, your friends and your puppy, and go engage in hobbies and do anything else to distract yourself. Watch a nice movie. Go to the movie theater if you need to. That's a fun thing too. Go be around other people. Just go have a drink. Go chat somebody up. Throw yourself into a work project. Do things that excite you. Do things that you're passionate about, right? Work on something that you've been wanting to do. Clean your house, fix that thing that's broken, whatever it is, all right? That's making your life about you, You see what I'm saying? And not them. So, okay, I get it. I get why you had the relief response too. You were focusing way too much. Now by doing that, of course, blocking them, you've kind of forced yourself to not be able to check on them anymore, which is probably all right. But so I felt oddly relieved and free, and still do. Well, that's why, because now you're actually not checking them all the time, right? Maybe sometimes it's necessary to kind of, what's the term I'm looking for? Batten down the hatches or do something drastic to kind of stop, this could be viewed as a pattern interrupt, okay? Like a very drastic pattern interrupt. I've talked about those two before. If it's like a pattern that you see yourself in that's not good and you recognize it's not healthy or constructive in any way or helpful in any way, that you just kind of, boom, you want to stop that pattern dead in its tracks by disrupting yourself, disrupting that pattern in any way, right? So this might be considered a pattern interrupt, okay? But I wouldn't normally recommend doing that or making decisions like that from a place of feeling very, very desperate. In future, you'll know when this kind of thing is happening and you sense yourself stalking them way too much on their social media, that's your indication that you're not focusing enough on yourself. And that's when you switch the focus over to yourself, okay? You find things that you love to do. You do anything, you work on yourself, work on your body, work on your, go to the gym, do anything that's gonna bring you confidence and make you feel confident. But you don't need them to make you feel confident. You can do those things for yourself, okay? So, and then you say, still trying to break the habit of doing things, self-love, etc., to get an outcome. And of course, this is exactly what I was talking about, right? You want to do those things to foster self-love. You want to do those things to make yourself feel good. You want to do those things to align yourself, but you don't want to do them with this in mind, that I'm only doing this to get an outcome. So good for you on that, all right? Nicely done, baby girl. I'm sorry, I'll stop. But you're getting the idea. You're getting the idea. You're getting the idea here that, and this ties well into what I was saying, it's okay to take action as long as that action is from an aligned place and moving you into more alignment, only for that purpose, right? You want to love yourself enough that getting yourself to feel good is enough. You're giving yourself that. You're giving yourself permission to be happy without needing anybody else to change, to treat you in any other different way. But those things will fall into place the more happy you become, the more okay and aligned you become with yourself, the more confident you become, the more you respect you give yourself, the more appreciation you give yourself. Those things will just fall into place naturally as a result of that, as a byproduct of that, okay? You won't be happy because of it. It doesn't work that way, that they change their behavior first and then you get to be happy. Because chances are, even if they change their behavior miraculously, you still won't feel happy because you haven't done the work on the inside. And at some point, eventually, you will have to do it. You'll have to just face that work. And I know it feels so difficult and people don't want to do it. And in a way, it's easier to just try to convince other people to love you and make you feel good, giving them the responsibility for your happiness and your self-love and appreciation. But at some point, you're going to have to do it. You're just putting it off. That's all it is. You're just delaying what you need to inevitably do. All right? We all have to do it at some point. So just hunker down and do it. And you'll find it's not so difficult once you start. And then once you get going, it gets easier and easier and easier because it's a practice. Okay? And switch. So yes, breaking the habit of doing things like this, self-love, affirmations, all the stuff I'm guessing, all the things to get an outcome, and switch to doing them because they make me feel good. And that's precisely it. And see, just the fact that you recognize that is already a huge step in the right direction. So I think you're doing great. Thank you, Tarkan. I've been binge watching all your videos and playing them in the background when I can. I get this a lot. You guys are binge watching my videos. It's so strange to me. I make a video and I don't want to think about it anymore. I want to think about the next one. But you guys, okay, hey, that makes me happy. All right. But I'm trying to imagine you guys like doing dishes or whatever you're doing with me, my voice babbling on in the background. But it makes me happy though that you're doing that. I'm just trying to imagine the scenario. Thank you, Tarkan. You have just the right way of delivering this message so it's neither too harsh nor sugar-coated. Yeah, well, it's all about balance, isn't it? It's like stroke with one hand, spank with the other. All right, we'll move on from that one. Thank you, baby girl. All right, this next one is from Jennifer Peters. Hey Tarkon, I have a question and I'm hoping you can answer it because it's something that I'm curious about and what your thoughts are on the subject. I've seen videos, I don't believe you've done one, but I've seen videos about failed manifestations or speeding up your manifesting. Topics along that line. And again, if you're worried about speeding up your manifesting, this is what I was talking about earlier. That has to do with the fact that you're impatient, obviously, and you're focusing way too much on the condition needing to change so you can finally feel okay and happy. You got to feel okay and happy now. That's all the things I've been talking about, and that's what all these things are for. Affirmations, yada yada, are there to get you into alignment. That's what alignment is, okay? Being happy before you have the manifestation, or being okay without needing it to change, and then it can change. You see what I'm saying? Then it can change. Then it can come. All right? So, I've seen videos about failed manifestations or speeding up your manifesting, topics along that line. I guess I don't understand what constitutes a failed manifestation or how you would know you had a failed manifestation. Right, there's no failed manifestations. You're always manifesting, okay? You're always manifesting. So you're either manifesting unwanted things or you're manifesting wanted things. All right? Most people are, well, everybody's manifesting all the time, whether they realize it or not, but most people aren't, they don't realize they're doing it. Most people out there are operating on a default manifesting mode. They don't understand how powerful they really are. They still have this separation consciousness. It's me and the world. It's me and God. It's me and these outside forces making things happen. And they decide my fate and my destiny and what befalls me and what's appropriate for me to have or not appropriate for me to have. It's just a bunch of BS, okay? It's stuff we've been taught from since we were in the cradle, and again, it comes from old institutional organized religious thinking, because those institutions wanted to control us. And they've been doing that very successfully, but they're starting to lose their grip, and it's freaking them out. Because here we are out here telling everybody and learning on our own how powerful we really are. We don't need them, okay? And believe me, when everybody finally realizes this, somewhere down the road, this will be a better world. And we will be happier people. And we will do happier things and better things, okay? My leg is asleep. So anyway, there are no failed manifestations. There's just manifesting what you want and manifesting what you don't want. But also, the other reason I want to say and stress this, that there are no failed manifestations. You can't make a mistake with this stuff. You got to also put aside the thinking of, I've made a mistake, I did it wrong. Because that's also self-blame, okay? Which is, of course, not in line with self-love and appreciation and acceptance. Challenging situations are going to happen in this world that's set up like that in order to cause you to expand. Think about that. So you would stagnate if you didn't have challenges that you then wanted to overcome, or that would then help you formulate what you really want. That's what expansion is, right? That's how the manifesting process works. This is what Abraham Hicks talks about a lot. The contrast, they call it contrast. Challenges, contrast, whatever you want to call it. Unhappy situations, unwanted manifestations, okay? They happen, but they need to happen. All right? When you see it from that perspective, it becomes easier to accept the challenges. Because what you do is, out of the challenges, that's how you formulate and birth new desires. All right? This happened, X happened, and then you go, well, I don't like X at all. Well, what's the opposite of X? What would make X better? Or what's the better outcome here? Well, it would be Y. So now that you know that you want Y, okay? If X hadn't happened, you wouldn't understand that Y is what you preferred. So now you know to reach for Y. You become okay with X, you accept X, you don't fight X. You focus on Y then. You reach for Y, and then Y, and then you align with Y, okay? And then Y comes along and you go, Y was cool for a little while, but I don't know, it doesn't feel right anymore. Y doesn't feel right anymore. I think I want Z now, okay? So you see, this is how we progress. This is how we evolve, all right? And even the situations you're dealing with right now of wanting your SP, even the fact that you're not with them, and then it feels so awful to you, has caused you to expand just by looking for videos like this, looking for ways to make yourself better, looking for ways to understand and embrace and use your personal power. Without that situation, you would have never come to this point. Because you're not only going to manifest them back, but this is teaching you tools that are going to be useful for you for the rest of your life. And you're going to look back on it one day and go, oh my God, if Billy hadn't dumped me and if it hadn't felt so bloody awful, I would have never read that book. I would have never learned about manifesting. I would have never taken steps to understand my power and how to use it. And then I got Billy back. Was it Billy? Then I got Billy back, and not only to get Billy back, but then when I got Billy back, Billy didn't even freaking matter anymore, because now I understood just how powerful I was. But without Billy dumping me and making me feel like shit, I would have never understood that. So this caused me to expand, and that's what this situation is doing for all of you out there right now. It's what it's done for me, and you will expand throughout the rest of your life on this earth. That's what we're here for. Expansion. We live in an expanding universe. It's evolution, it's expansion, it's growth, it's forward movement, okay? So there are no failed manifestations. They all serve a purpose, okay? I'm sure people could look at my situation and say that I failed. I'm sure they would, but probably they would look at it through the lens of looking at their own failed situation or how they view their lives and their situations. They probably see themselves as failures too. So don't ever worry about what people think of you and your situation. It's irrelevant. They're only expressing something that they feel about themselves, right? That's all it is. What does Abraham Hicks always say? What if someone hates you? Well, it's none of my business. What if they love you? Well, it's none of my business either. It's their business, right? I can love myself. It's none of anyone's business. How they feel about me is none of my business, really. If they love me, that's great. If they hate me, that's great too. I'm sure people could look at my situation and say that I failed. I haven't seen or heard from my person for almost a year now, but I don't think I failed. I know that it will happen in my time. Well, I think you're saying before I die, or it will happen in time. Yes, of course. Well, it's going to happen, and again, this is good, right? These aren't so much like these aren't the kind of comments I usually read where people have these sort of very burning questions, but making some observations that I thought were important to kind of talk about and touch on, because you just like baby girl, it seems like you have a good idea about what's going on there. It's actually exactly what I was talking about, right? I've been talking about in this video. Let go of it needing to change. Let go of it needing to be different. And yes, let go of the idea and the false idea that you failed in some way. And just because it's been a year or however long it's been that I failed, it's never going to happen. No, it doesn't mean that at all. You're aligning. And when I see you writing something like this, I see that you've probably made a lot of progress. Probably when you started out with this process, you weren't thinking like this at all. Maybe you were thinking along the lines of, God, I failed, and when's it going to happen? And I feel very desperate. But see, now you're moving into this other paradigm, this other way of thinking. You're becoming easy about it. You're letting go, okay? That's what you need to do. This is the attitude you need to start adopting, all right? It's perfect. Yeah, I don't think I've failed just because it's been a year. Well, time doesn't mean anything anyway. I know it'll happen. It's going to happen. In the meantime, I get the opportunity to work on myself and make myself the most awesome person I can be, so I can be an more awesome person when they do come back. They're not going to want to dump me again, right? So thank God I had that time. Thank God I had that year to work on myself and become better. They'll never have an excuse to walk away from me again when they come back. You see what I'm saying? So that's the kind of way you want to start telling the story, differently, from a more productive, from a better perspective. That should be your narrative, okay? Be appreciative of those things. Even if it's something that's happening that you don't like, and yeah, it's going to feel awful for a little bit, but you know what? Come out of it thinking, this is what's going to cause me to expand, all right? Now I see how I did that, how I made that happen. Now I know how I can make the opposite thing happen. See how powerful I am? If I can embrace the fact and the idea that I manifest even the challenging situations in my life, well, look how powerful that makes me, right? That makes you very powerful. If you can do that, then you can do anything, okay? You can create anything. You can create all the good things that you want. Absolutely. Don't worry about time and all that nonsense. It doesn't mean anything anyway. So it's a construct. I have some friends who roll their eyes when they hear me say that. That's because they have a very bad relationship with that concept, right? They see time as an enemy. Start seeing it as your friend. That's how you switch the story. That's how you switch the narrative, right? Time's your friend. What if you're in a desperate place feeling awful about yourself and you've been like gobbing on ice cream because you've had this big emotional hole in your chest, and then they come back into your life? You're like, oh my God, I just gained like 50 pounds. I'm a mess. I haven't washed in 2 days. I'm like, I haven't slept, I look like fucking death. And now they're going to text me and want to see me. Oh no. No, you want them to come into your life when you're feeling awesome. I've been working out. I've been loving myself. I've been building my confidence. I've been building this skill. You know, I've been doing this. I'm doing awesome. My life is one big, awesome, wonderful party. That's when you want them to come back so they can see how awesome you are. All right? So make time your friend, not your enemy. I know that it will happen in time, and it will. And in the perfect time, and the universe knows the perfect time. You see, that's part of trust too. Let the universe decide the timing. If you let your monkey mind decide the timing, you're not going to like the timing. Trust me on that. I feel we live in a world where everything needs to happen now and very quickly. And if it doesn't, you failed. And yes, you hit it on the nail there, Jennifer. That's exactly what I've been talking about. This need, and we've been conditioned to think that way from the beginning. Action, 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 action. You must work hard. Think about all the people out there who work hard, and most people out there really do work very hard. How far have they gotten in life? If you really look at them, if hard work really brought you abundance, right? We wouldn't have only 1% of the population being millionaires. It would be 100% of the population. So right there you see what BS that is, right? The BS story. That's an old industrial era story to get us factory workers, us drones to work harder and harder and harder and not complain, right? So we can make them rich, okay? There's enough to go around. You don't want to work hard, you want to work efficiently. Think about that. That's another one for another video. Again, switch the story, switch the perspective. So yes, you're right, people are impatient, and that's precisely why they then take very desperate actions and very unproductive actions, and actions that will toss them back, that will take them 2-3 steps backwards. All right, that's what, when you make decisions and you take actions from that perspective, you know, it's going to hit the fan, most likely. But you calm yourself down first, you become aligned first, you relax first, you become easy first, you take a light approach, a light touch. Then you take action from that, if you feel action is warranted, okay? But you'll know by the way you feel that it feels relaxing, right? So, and don't get me wrong, I still have my days where I doubt myself, but I don't give up, and I certainly don't look at it like I failed. Perfect, Jennifer, and you're right. You know, you're gonna have doubtful days, you're gonna go back a little bit, even if you've been working on yourself a while, you're gonna go back a little bit, and you're gonna feel like, and don't look at that as being a failure either. It's fine, it's a natural thing actually. You're not always gonna be here, okay? And you're not always gonna be here. Most of the time we're here, right? We're sort of there, maybe a little more there now, and then today maybe a little bit here. But see, it's okay, right? And as you work these tools and as you understand, just like Baby Girl said, that you do these methods and affirmations to get yourself back up a little bit, up that scale, right? That's why you do them, and you have those tools in your toolbox. Even when you have the days when you're doubting and you're kind of down on yourself, you know what to do then, right? Okay, well, I know this affirmation makes me feel better. Or I know that even just going out now for a run, or just going to take a drive in my car, or just playing with the dog, or doing anything else will make me feel better, then I'm just going to do that instead of focusing on how I'm feeling badly, okay? So you're going to have those days, and don't fight those days. It's fine. It's okay. If you're feeling sad and you want to sit in bed and eat a pint of ice cream and watch cartoons, do it, for God's sakes. Especially this time of year. It's starting to rain. You know, if you want to take a nap, take a nap. Your inner being knows what you need to do in that moment. Listen to the guidance, okay? Do the things that give you that feeling of relief, like I said. Give you that feeling of, okay, I think it's okay. I can give myself permission to just do this right now and not focus on that and not push so hard, you know? And your inner being will go, yes, of course. Love yourself. Be good to yourself. Take a freaking bath, okay? Do something. Have a glass of wine. Eat your favorite cheese. I'm going to do that later. I'm thinking about cheese again. Summertime is not cheese time, but cheese time is coming. Cheese time is now. Cheese time is now. All right. But I don't give up, and I certainly don't look at it like I failed. Good. That's a great attitude. Those are just my thoughts. Just wondering what you think about the topic. Well, there you go. Now you know. I think you guys, you Baby Girl, and you Jennifer, you guys are on the right track, doing wonderfully. The next one is from Holly H. Hi Tarkon, let me first say that your voice is super calming. And lately your channel is my go-to when I need some comfort or want to feel like somebody is there. Well, thank you. That's really nice. I'm glad I have a calming voice. Again, I'm imagining you guys binge watching my videos. But I do that too. You know, I have a handful of people out there I really like going to. Sometimes they call me, or certain podcasts I like to listen to, and I'll put on my headphones, my Bluetooth ones, and I'll do dishes or something. And they call me down. Yeah, sure. Well, thank you though. That's really nice. I'm glad that my voice has that effect on you. Oh, you're talking about a success story. So my success story is I manifested 2 significant raises in pay this year. Well, good for you. Congratulations. I didn't really do anything aside from realize I was due for a raise and that I deserved one. Gee. So you mean you didn't kick down your boss's door and wrestle him to the ground and yell at him and if I don't get a raise right now, I'll walk? No, you didn't do that. You mean you didn't stay up the night before pacing back and forth stressing about how you were going to ask your boss for a raise? You didn't do that either? You didn't practice asking him for a raise in the mirror? You didn't Google 1,000 times, how do I ask my boss for a raise, and watch a bunch of videos of people telling you how to ask your boss for a raise? You mean you didn't stress about it? You mean you just let it happen and it just happened? You mean all you did was believe that you were deserving and that the time for the raise was due? I think that's, I like that. I was due, all I did was I just knew I was due for a raise. It's kind of like, you can do that with the universe. It's like, you know what, universe, I'm due for this right now. I think this is time for this next step now. This is the next thing now that I'm ready for. So you go do it, okay? You take care of it, all right? I don't want to do nothing. I'm just going to sit around over here. I want to play with my ball. One ball, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that too much, but I'm going to do nothing. You just go ahead and get me the raise, okay? I'm deserving. I'm due for it. I'm not going to do nothing. So perfect. Look at that. Look at that. So you aligned. You believed in your own self-worth. You believed that you were giving value to the company you work in, to the business you work for, to your bosses. You believed in the value you were offering, and you believed that, hey, I'm due for some compensation for this, for what I'm giving, for the value I'm offering them, okay? And I see my own value and my own worth. So I'm due for a raise, all right? And you don't have to do much about it. And you got 2 pay raises. 2 significant pay raises in a year. So look at that. Not only did you get a raise, you got double what you wanted, okay? So I didn't really do anything aside from realize I was due for a raise and that I deserved one. I didn't agonize over it, right? Just like I said, I didn't agonize over it or wonder when it would happen. I didn't take any action. No action. I just received. I just put myself in receiving mode. And I was starting to feel a little sneeze come on. There was indeed a big sneeze, and I told you guys I wasn't going to sneeze in your ear or into the camera. So anyway, yes. So to continue real quick, the mindset behind being in receiving mode versus being in asking mode all the time, right? And I'm going to do another video speaking more in depth about that because it's an important topic to cover. But basically, when you're doing all of this drastic action and worrying, what you're doing is you're still in asking mode, all right? And you want to bring yourself into receiving mode. And what is that? Just very simply, I can use this kind of metaphor that you've probably read a lot in other books or whatever it was, or heard in other videos. It's a pretty common one to use, and it's really simply, when you go to a restaurant, you ask for your, you put in your order, and then you just wait. You eat some breadsticks, you drink some water, maybe some drinks that you ordered, and you know that they're working on your food and it's going to come. Okay, you're not constantly hey, I just put in my order, and then 10 seconds later you keep asking the waiter, did you really get what I wanted? You follow him around did you really write it down correctly? Did you hear everything that I said? That's kind of what you're doing. That's what we're all doing with this manifesto. When we're constantly asking the universe, did you hear me? Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Because it's not here yet. I don't see it yet. Are you sure? Are you sure you're working on it? Are you sure you're cooking that steak? But receiving mode is very simply just saying, yeah, I put in my order. Now I can just do what I need to do while I wait. Okay, that's all it is, and I know it's going to come, right? That's putting yourself in receiving mode, okay? Like I said, it's already becoming a very long video, and I'm going to actually wrap this up, but I'll do another video about that, and thank you for bringing that up, Holly, because that's an important point, all right? What's the difference between asking mode and receiving mode, and how do you actually move from one to the other? So we've actually talked about that quite a bit in this video, but just to wrap up this comment, so I didn't take any action, I just received. I feel the same as possible with an SP, with a specific person, and you're absolutely right. It's the same as possible and true for any of your desires. It's all the same, okay? Same approach for any of it. In that arena, there's a lot more confirmation that feelings are mutual. So I guess from your specific person, you're getting a lot more confirmation that feelings are mutual between the two of you, so congratulations for that. I feel grateful for that. Excellent. That's all you need to do. And just the way that you managed to, manifest 2 significant pay raises in 1 year without doing much of anything, that you apply that same attitude to your situation with a specific person, and watch how much easier and quicker and more flowy it all comes to you, right? So, looking forward to more of your videos. Well, thank you, Holly. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, baby girl. Thank you, baby girl, for your comments. Those were great. They gave me an opportunity to talk about this topic and to really get into some of these areas I thought were important to talk about. So thanks for the comments, all your comments. I can't get to every one of them. I want to get to as many of them as possible, and I know there's a lot of you out there who have other questions. If you do have questions and somebody asked me, hey, can I make a video, can I suggest a video topic? You can always suggest a video topic. You can do it in the comments section. But if you really want to make sure I get them, go ahead and just send them to my email address, manifestation.lab@gmail.com. Just send them there. You can put future video request, topic request in the subject line, something like that, so I know. And again, there's no guarantee that I'll immediately make a video about that. But then it's good to get feedback from you guys. Like, what is it that you want to hear about? What is it you want to know about? Sometimes I'll sit and go, well, I'll do a video about this or that. But of course, it's always better to hear what it is that you really. What are your burning questions? What do you want to really know about? Okay. It makes this a lot easier too. So, thanks for all the subscribers. All you subscribers, keep coming back. Thank you guys, you're awesome. Thank you for all the new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed and you just found my video and you like the cut of my jib, please hit subscribe now. Do it now. And if you want some coaching, that information is down below. If you want to leave me a tip, a little donation, you can see how to do that down below. And thank you for all you who've been doing that, who have done that. Thank you so much. It's always appreciated. Join the Facebook group if you want to meet like-minded people and support each other and get a support group going. Boom, find that down there too. And otherwise, thanks for watching. As usual, until next time, I am Tarkan. Happy manifesting. Bye-bye.